Hello, world. Welcome to episode 206 of the Jimmy Canz Show, Classic Supercard Retrospective. We're going to take a look back at Clash of the Champions 24. Let's get into it. All right. So, obviously, it's a Clash of Champions, so the WCW event. It was held on August 18th, 1993, from the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida. It was broadcast live on TBS. The action was called by Tony Schiavone and Jesse the Body Ventura. 7 matches, including 3 title matches. Well, let's talk about it. All right. Uh, Opening contest was a tag team title match. It was for the Unified World Tag titles, both the NWA and WCW tag team titles. Contest featured the Horsemen, represented by Double A, the Enforcer Arn Anderson, and Paul Roma, taking on actually only half of the Hollywood Blondes and Stunning Steve Austin, who would be joined by Lord Steven Regal with Sir William. Pillman, is ringside as well, but he was injured prior to this event, so they used the whole substitute wrestler angle here. Anyway, long story short, the Horsemen end up capturing the titles here in this contest. Shortly, though, after this, the NWA and WCW parted ways for the final time. So Anderson and Roma just become your WCW tag team champions once that happens. So, new tag team champions. Next was a singles contest. Too Cold Scorpio taking on Beautiful Bobby Eaton. Scorpio getting the win in this one, as they're still trying to build him up. Built him pretty strong. Actually, it wasn't too long. I should rephrase that. This same time period, they've got Scorpio working with Bagwell a lot, and they've kind of solidified them as a tag team. So this one was a little weird seeing Scorpio in a singles match, when he's been primarily in these tag matches with Bagwell. Anyway, next up was the mask versus guitar matchup between Johnny B. Bad and Max Payne. Um, Bad still sporting the mask because of getting shot in the face by Max Payne with the Bad Blaster a few months prior. Bad does win this matchup, but then after the match announces that that upcoming weekend he will officially unmask. So if you're going to have him be, unmasking anyway, why have him go over here? It just didn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, I digress. It was also on this show that we got the infamous Flair for the Gold segment with the debut of the Shockmaster. Probably the greatest debut in wrestling. Well, the great, but the most infamous debut in wrestling history. Oh, poor Uncle Fred. So, yeah, that was on this one. Leading into War Games. Next, you had a matchup for the WCW World Television Championship as Ricky the Dragon Steamboat challenges champion Mr. Wonderful Paul Warndorf. Steamboat is successful in this one and captures the television championship. Next up, the Stinger and NWA World Champion, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, joined forces to face Harley Race's new monstrous tandem of the Colossal Kongs. Stinger and Flair get the win here. Very shortly after this, though, as I mentioned before, the NWA and WCW part ways, and that title that Flair is wearing is then renamed the WCW International Championship. So he keeps the big gold belt, and they just rechristen it, the WCW International Championship. Um, Next up was an interesting contest. The natural Dustin Rhodes had a mystery partner. It turned out to be Road Warrior Hawk. Was also joined by Road Warrior Animal. So yes, the Road Warriors are now back in WCW, and they faced the team of the Equalizer and Ravishing Rick Rude. Obviously, you've got the Road Warriors returning, so you're going to have that tandem of Rhodes and Hawk win. You're not going to have a returning team um, come back, even if you're only representing one half of them, and to lose. So next up was the WCW World Title match between the British Bulldog and Big Van Vader, with Harley Race in Vader's corner. Vader's successful here, retains his title. And this was kind of it really for Bulldog in terms of being like a legitimate contender uh, for his, during his time frame in WCW. So, in terms of Hall of Fame involvement on this show, a lot, obviously. You got 15 Hall of Famers on on the show. Race out there with his tag team, and as well as Vader. Orndorff was on the show. Flair, Steamboat, Austin, both Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal. Double A. Foley shows up at the end of the night. I almost forgot to mention that. Tax Vader. Um, so he was on the show as well. The Stinger, uh, Rick Rude, both members of Harlem Heat were on the Flair for the Gold segment. So Steve Ray Booker T, there's another two. Bulldog, and then good old Uncle Fred himself, um, you know, the most recent Hall of Famer. Uh, and then if you tack on Bischoff, who was doing interviews, and Ventura on commentary, that's actually 17. So pretty Hall of Fame laden show here. So in terms of a rating on this one, um, this was a pretty good clash, actually. I mean, the pain bad storyline. Like I said, you got some story there in that matchup. You had the tag team title change, uh, even though you had the substitute member of the tag champions there. Uh, in that one, you had the TV title change as well. The infamous Shockmaster debut. Like I said, wrestling, it's about moments. It really is, and that was a moment, and it sticks. So, um, the only match on this card that really didn't have any real story to it was the Scorpio Eaton match. The rest of this card, like I said, there was a lot of good story and everything going on here, and title matches and what have you. I mean, like I said, the Steamboat and Orndorff didn't really have a lot of beef going into it, but it's a title match. So, and it was a title change. So, out of 10 belts, like I said, this is a really good show, in my opinion. So, I'm actually going to give this out of 10 belts. Yeah, it's 8. It's an 8 out of 10. It's a really solid clash. So, there you have it. Um, We'll be doing another classic retrospective, probably. It's going to be a little while, probably sometime in August that we do it. I finally kind of gotten these things lined up to an extent where I can do a retrospective on an event before the current year's event is about to come up. So the next one that we've got on our timeline here will be the 93 SummerSlam, the old Lex Express year. So make sure you tune in and look for that one in August. So, give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe wherever you are. Hope you are doing well. Take care of one another, and I will see y'all when I see you.